Your life as a dragon priest. You drop into the game and wake up in a dark wet cave. Normal players step out into the world to find a nice piece of metal and start swinging it at things. But not you. You wake up with a very weird craving. You do not want to swing a sword. You do not want to shoot little blue magic arrows. You want to eat the hearts of giant flying lizards. You are totally fine with a gross, old, and very weird diet known as Dragon Communion. Your whole goal is to turn your weak, regular human body into a walking natural disaster. You walk out into the bright light of the starting area, totally ready to scare the local animals with your very specific food choices. To you, every single huge monster in this broken world is just a giant walking snack that will give you new magic tricks. You plan to spend your whole game hunting down the biggest, meanest mythical pets and ripping out their life force just to become the best lizard wizard around. Because eating your enemy's raw parts while staring them dead in the eye is the ultimate gamer power play. But before you can start your all-dragon diet, you need the right tool for the job. You have to take a long, painful trip down into the starting graveyard dungeon. You happily run through this awful, poison-filled trap maze just to find a special casting item. You completely skip dealing with the scary wheel chariot thing by blowing it up into a million pieces of wood. Your prize is the special dragon seal, and it is going to be your best friend. This little item gets stronger when you level up your arcane stat. That means it makes your magic breath attacks build up effects like rot and ice super fast. You throw a missile pile of your hard-earned runes into making your arcane stat as high as it can go. You want to make sure your enemies melt into a sad puddle of goo. You also put a lot of points into your dexterity stat. This makes your casting speed way fast so you can spit fire before the boss can even swing their sword at you. We respect a fast casting apex predator in this household. Playing as a full-time dragon guy means you have to be very careful with how you level up. You have to be a little bit of a nerd about it. After you pump up your arcane stat to make your magic hit like a truck, you need to focus on your mind stat. Dragon magic costs a lot of blue juice. You need a huge blue bar so you do not run out of magic right when the boss is about to die. You will need to carry a ton of blue flasks to keep drinking during those crazy, messy boss fights all over the map. And of course, you have to put a lot of money into your vigor stat. Vigor gives you health. You need a ton of health because breathing fire takes a long time, and you will get punched in the face while you do it. You totally get that having a huge chunky red health bar is the only way to survive the crazy monsters in this game. Passing your health check is the #1 rule for not getting sent back to the loading screen every 5 seconds. Your very first real test happens when a huge flying dragon decides to crash your nice walk through the starting lake. You happily fight this winged nightmare in the mud to claim his heart as your very first prize. You hit him with a final blow, proudly pull out his glowing heart, and fast travel straight to the ruined Draken Church on the island. You trade this gross trophy for the power to breathe fire. You quickly learn how to make a giant ghost dragon head pop out of the air and burn whole camps of normal guys to crisp. You also buy the magic bite attack. This lets you make a huge pair of ghost jaws to just crunch your enemies into a flat pancake. Taking a massive bite out of a main boss is the coolest thing you can possibly do. Next, your food tour takes you up north to the foggy, wet lakes full of those awful giant lobsters. You are looking for a magic blue dragon who sleeps by a big rock. You find him taking a nap and get ready to ruin his whole afternoon. You use the element of surprise to blast him right in the face with your new fire breath to start the fight. You carefully watch your green stamina bar so you can run away when he shoots blue magic back at you. You keep moving and wait for the right time to strike. Soon enough, you break his stance with a huge magic bite and rip the shiny blue heart right out of his chest. You trade this pretty hard for the magic breath spell. Now you have the magic damage option for your bag of tricks. Having a different flavor breath for every single boss weakness makes you the ultimate magic tool belt. After that, you walk into a super tight, bat-filled cave to find a weird boss made of magma. You look at his gross lizard-like body and realize something scary. This guy used to be a human who ate too many dragon hearts. This is what happens when you follow this diet. You feel a little bad for him for a second, but then you get ready to beat him up in his lava-filled basement. You carefully roll through the small room, dodging his big sword swings and his annoying fire spit. You hit his rocky face one last time to claim his lava heart. This unlocks the magma breath spell. You basically get the power to throw up hot rocks all over the floor to burn the feet off anyone trying to walk toward you. Creating your very own floor is lava game is just endless fun. Your endless hunger naturally takes you east to the awful, red, sick lands of Caelid. You are looking for more giant lizards lizards to snack on. You find the big dragon shirt sitting in the middle of this dead scary place. It feels like a home for your weird lifestyle. You find a sick rotting dragon guarding the church. You happily put him out of his misery to take his infected heart. You trade it to get a special rot breath spell. This lets you blow a massive cloud of red sickness all over the battle. You basically become a nice doctor handing out a terrible flu to every sad bad guy standing in your way. Sharing is caring, especially when you are sharing a highly deadly space virus. While you are walking around this terrible red place, you find a huge old mother dragon just laying on a hill. She cannot even move. You spent a very funny amount of time just standing behind her, hitting her tail with a weapon that makes her bleed. It takes a while, but eventually, you take all her life force and get a massive pile of money for it. You take her old heart and trade it for her special roar spell. This spell lets you yell so loud that it makes all the enemies around you super weak. You mix this loud yell with your good armor and you become a total walking tank. Beating up a giant sleeping lizard for free money is the best farming trick in the game. Now it is time to make your numbers go up. You go deep into a dark, scary mining cave to find a very important item for your build. You bravely walk across the scary wooden bridges, beat up the big stone troll at the bottom, and take the special roar next. You put it on right away because it makes your dragon voice way stronger. You really love how this simple piece of jewelry makes your fire breath and your loud yells hit so much harder. You lean on this necklace the whole game to make sure every time you breathe out, it hits like a freight train. You totally stop using your inside voice and just decide to scream at everything until it dies. To make things even crazier, you do a really long, confusing quest for an old bug man and a sick girl with one arm. You do all the talking and fighting needed to get the special canvas item from the old man. You put the super strong item on to push your dragon magic damage as high as the game will let it go. You mix this item with your roar necklace to make a crazy combo of damage buffs. This combo just melts the health bars of the hardest bosses. You basically turn your guy into a walking magic bomb that can wipe out a god with one good breath attack. We really love stacking damage numbers until the game looks like it is going to crash. Getting ready is the most important part of your game plan before you walk through any boss door. You do a very long, crazy dance of casting a bunch of spells just to make yourself as strong as possible. First, you cast a golden spell to give yourself a shiny ring of extra damage and defense. Then, you cast a fire spell to make your body glow and boost your fire damage even more. Next, you drink your special mixed flask with a bubble tier inside so you can take one massive hit without dying while you are busy breathing fire. Finally, you use a crazy yell spell to push your damage to the absolute limit while making yourself look totally insane. You completely lean into how funny it is to spend 2 minutes streaming at the sky just to beat a boss in 10 seconds. Keep playing, you learn more about the deep story of eating these hearts. You find out that if you eat too many, you will slowly turn into one of those gross magma lizards crawling on the floor, but you do not care at all. You welcome this weird body change and think it is just the next step to becoming perfect. You meet a cool samurai guy with a big hat who tells you to stop eating hearts because the dragon blood will ruin your mind. You nod and say thank you for the advice, but you just keep eating hearts as fast as you can because they taste too good. Later on, you see a cool lady fighter who went totally crazy from the dragon curse. You take her fancy red sword as a backup weapon. Because it looks awesome, we fully support a crazy dragon lady who has great taste in swords and loves to fight. Your hunt to be the best dragon takes you up to the super bright snowy mountains to fight a dragon made of ice. You fight the slippery boss in the middle of a crazy snowstorm where you can barely see your own hands. You carefully time your rolls to dodge his giant wings and his freezing breath that turns the air to ice. You fight back by holding down the button to spray him with regular fire, since ice monsters really hate fire. You melt his giant health bar, take his frozen heart, and learn how to blow a massive cloud of freezing fog. Turning the bad guys into giant ice cubes is just the best way to keep them from moving. You also get better at hitting things up close by using the magic dragon claw spell. You make a giant ghost hand appear and slam it down so hard it flattens a fully armored knight right into the dirt. You really like how the game gives you super armor when you cast the spell, meaning you do not get knocked down even if you get hit while doing it. You chain a bunch of claw slams together to completely crush the bad guys with raw power. It is so funny to watch a scared enemy try to block a magic hand the size of a house with a tiny wooden shield. The giant magic hand is going to win that fight every single time. No questions asked. To really be the best dragon player, you have to learn how to aim your breath attacks yourself instead of letting the game do it. You turn off the lock-on camera so you can drag your giant cone of fire all all over the place to hit a bunch of guys at once. You tilt your camera up to catch flying birds trying to run away from the fire. You smoothly swing your fire back and forth to make sure every single enemy gets cooked evenly. You basically become a fast-moving flamethrower that can clean out a whole camp of guys in just a few seconds. Moving the camera yourself is what separates the babies from the true Dragon Masters. Of course, while you're playing, other real players will jump into your game to try and kill you. They usually have fast swords that make you bleed, and they just want to ruin your fun, but you love it when they show up because it lets you show them where your dragon build is better. You just stand there and wait for them to run at you. Then, you let out a fully charged old dragon yell to break their ears and ruin their day. Right after they get stunned, you follow up with a giant magic bite to eat their whole health bar in one hit and send them back to their own game. You do a nice little bow over their body to show them you are a polite, well-fed monster. We always love handing out free tickets back to the loading screen for players who try to rush us. Eventually, your trip takes you to the floating broken rocks in the sky to fight a very old dragon lord with two heads. You have a massive fight with this huge monster in the middle of a crazy red lightning storm. You just keep blowing red rot breath at him to melt his huge health bar while dodging his crazy flying attacks. You finally hit him one last time, take his soul, and get his super cool laser beam spell. You learn how to shoot golden lasers out of your mouth to blow up everything left in your way. Turning into a literal space laser satellite makes you feel so incredibly good. Your endless hunger finally pulls you into the new shadow area to find even more lizards to eat. You walk through the dangerous map to find the giant dragon altar sitting up in the Rocky Mountains. You meet a weird dragon lady there, and she tells you all about the old fights between the big dragons and the smaller ones. You happily take her magic blessing and learn about a huge scary boss named Bale who lives at the very top of the mountain. You jump at the chance to go hunt down this legendary boss and eat his super strong heart. Taking super dangerous hitman jobs from weird dragon ladies is exactly why we play this game. You spend a lot of time talking to this dragon lady to learn the deep story of her people. You find out her name, and you really like how much she loves her old dragon boss in the storm. You happily drink her special sleepy juice so you can take a nap and see the history of the dragons in your dreams. You really enjoy all the cool story bits you get from talking to her. You promise to do everything she asks. Having your very own cheerleader to support your weird heart-eating diet makes the game so much better. As you climb up the scary rocks of the big mountain, you meet a very loud, very angry warrior named Igon. You find this broken guy yelling at the dirt because he hates the big boss Bale so much. You totally understand why he is so mad, and you happily agree to help him get his revenge. You listen to his crazy stories and take his weird finger item so you can call his ghost to help you in the big boss fight. You really love how much this guy wants to fight the biggest, scariest monster in the world, even though he is totally broken. We will always help our screaming, crazy friends get the revenge. You also find out that this loud guy makes his own special arrows just for killing dragons. You happily buy his huge dragon spears to shoot out of your giant bow from far away. You love how hard these giant arrows hit since they are made just to punch through thick dragon scales. You basically become a guy who hunts whales, but for dragons, shooting giant sticks into the sky to knock them down. You mix shooting your big bow with your magic fire breath to make a fight style that nobody can beat. We always say you should bring the biggest pointy stick you can find to a dragon fight. You slowly climb the winding paths of the tall mountain, fighting a bunch of smaller dragons along the way. You use all your dragon magic to crush these guards and put their hearts in your pocket. Finally, you stand in front of the dark storm clouds at the very top and get ready for the hardest fight of your life. You drink your special mixed flask and step through the fog to look at the huge, scary Bale. Climbing a working volcano just to fight a giant lizard is the best workout you can get. You call your screaming friend Igon into the fight right away and listen to him yell at the top of his lungs. You fight right next to him, rolling out of the way when Bale shoots fire and lightning out of his giant mouth. You use your giant magic bite spell to crunch the boss on the head over and over until he falls down. You watch your friend Igon shoot his giant spears to pin the monster to the floor in a great team effort. You hit the boss one last time to end his life and take his glowing heart as your best prize yet. Hearing Igon scream his famous lines during the fight is easily the best part of the whole game. You proudly walk back to the dragon altar to trade your new heart for a spell that makes a giant explosion. You learn how to use this spell to blow up whole groups of bad guys with pure magic power. You also get the special rock heart and the priestess heart to take your dragon love to the next level. You take off all your heavy metal armor to use these items and turn your body into a walking, talking dragon. You totally love your new scaly skin and enjoy how much stronger your magic gets when you look like this. Looking cool in this game means you have to throw away all your clothes and become a scary lizard person. You fully lean into the body changes from the rock heart and leave your human limits behind. You look at your new scales and the big horns growing out of your head. You stay totally naked to make sure the magic flows through your body the right way. You get a huge forever boost to all your dragon spells just by walking around looking like a monster. You stand at the altar and do a cool pose to show off how awesome your final form looks. Turning into a real monster fixes the problem of trying to find armor pieces that match. You also get a really cool flower hammer from your dragon lady friend to use when bad guys get too close. You use the special move on this hammer to call down red lightning right on their heads. You love how this lightning strike makes the enemy super weak to more lightning. Right after you hit them with the hammer, you cast a giant red lightning spell to completely melt them. You make a perfect combo of lightning strikes just to delete the hardest bosses from the game. We totally love a hammer that works like a deadly lightning rod. You make your fighting style even better by using rings that give you more damage when things bleed or get sick. You put on the blood ring and the rot ring to make your numbers go crazy. You use the funny flower weapon covered in poison grease to make the rings work with just one hit. Right after you do that, you blow a fully charged fire breath to completely wipe the boss off the face of the earth. You become a perfect magic killer, using blood and fire to win every single time. Watching the damage numbers go higher and higher gives your brain the best happy juice. You walk like a winner through the gray, dusty city and step inside the glowing tree to fight the final boss. You have a huge fight with the golden god trading big magic hits back and forth. You carefully roll past his giant hammer swings and his annoying teleport moves to get in the perfect spot. You blow a long stream of red rot breath to make his shiny body sit. Then you hit him super hard with your giant magic claw to break his guard and win the fight. Watching a literal god fall over because you breathed spicy red wind on him makes you feel like the king of the world. Right after that, you have to fight the giant glowing space. You run after this thing across the giant water room while dodging its annoying tracking magic rings. You finally get close enough and use your new lightning fire spell to hit the space monster with everything you have. You hit it one last time and watch the giant glowing beast fade away into the sky to prove you are the best. You sit on the big chair as the new boss of the world, ready to make everyone respect the dragons. And then you start a brand new game right away just so you can feel the joy of eating giant lizard hearts all over again. Playing the game once just makes you want to play it again to feed the hungry dragon inside.